I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah.
Amaim, War Machines on the Borderline. A mech anime that brings giant mechs to the younger generation. And does it succeed? Well, kinda. It brings elements from other popular Sunrise mech series like Code Geass and Gundam. It tries hard to be unique and creative, and it's successful in the storytelling department and the animation, but the characters are a big problem. Character designs are so generic, they give me a headache just watching them. The characters are an eyesore, they stay the same for most of the series, and they are not special or unique in any way. If you have seen many anime, then their personalities will not impress you in any way. Then we have an AI dolls that help improve the performance of the mechs, but only slightly. Most of the time they also help with software updates and communication, like communicating with each other. There's 3 of them. They're also cute and are constantly hacking cameras without any effort. They seem to have personalities when expressing themselves, believing me to believe that they are very advanced AIs. The AIs are one of the main focus of the show, and that's what makes the show so great. For the AI part, that is. The story focuses on 3 pilots, Amo, Gashin, and Shion, and their cute AIs as they fight to liberate Japan from foreign governments that oppress them. This story is good, but the characters are the downfall, being less interesting than even Pokemon characters. No personality and bad dialogue, so predictable. It makes even school days writing look impressive. Their so-called character development was also predictable. Now the villains, or antagonists as I would call them, are not very menacing, although some like the AI called Ghost are very powerful, as he sometimes feels too overpowered. The politics are interesting, as they help progress the plot in a very realistic way. Everything in the story was explained in a very informative and nicely paced manner, but the antagonists do not feel like a real threat until towards the end of the series. Now the story starts off very strong, with an introduction of the causes of the war with Japan, the economic crisis, collapsing birth rate, and there are some good ideas that are rarely discussed in any anime. 4 nations are sent to intervene and begin occupying territories of Japan. The 4 nations, the NAC, Oceania, the Eurasia Federation, and East Asia Bloc, fight for control of Japan in a war called the Boundary War, with mechs called amaim. We are introduced to Amao, a kid buying parts to repair a broken amaim he finds. Amaim? I think that's what the mechs are called. He meets an AI called Guy, and it saves him. They then escape the Oshani territory and enter a new one controlled by the Asian military. After a battle, we meet Gashin, a member of the Japanese liberation group Yagateratsu. So after many cliche moments and episodes, finally the show improves with the introduction of an AI called Ghost. After many episodes and encounters with other military groups, Season 1 ends with a big, cool climax. I don't want to spoil it. Season 2 starts off with a battle. It's very forgettable. I just finished watching it like 2 weeks ago, and I already forgot what happens. So I had to go to Wikipedia, the summary section, to remind me what happens. So after a brief reminder, we get a lot of moments with the North American Army, and it's boring, and we get some good moments like every other anime, but it's not that good, and they're predictable. Also, we get an anniversary special, and that was bad in my opinion. It was bad because I really didn't add anything to anything, and I just didn't care about it. The final battle was a lot more disappointing than I thought. Even with the good animation, in general, I would say it's a 7 out of 10 at best. The characters are so unpredictable, and so unbearable to watch. They are so average, and even their designs are hard to watch. The only reason I watch this series is for the fight scenes. Its true potential only shines towards the end of the story. But even then, it's boring. At the end, everything is wrapped up in a nice way, but not great way. And it's really forgettable, the ending, for a really forgettable show. The characters, let's say the characters. I can't remember any of the characters' names. I had to Google them for this review. The main guy, Amal, is Spanish for love, and he's boring. He's very average. The personality's boring. He improves a little at the end, but it's always just boring for him. And we have Gashin, the edgy rival, like Sasuke. You know, we've seen these copycats everywhere. Then it's Sheen, the shy girl, who's actually a really good pilot. You get the problem here. You see the problem. The characters are just so the same as every other anime. Then we have the AI dolls. They are more interesting than the character humans. Unfortunately, they do a lot of hacking and honestly keep me entertained somehow. Then the antagonists, there are several that are boring and forgettable, but the one that got a lot of screen time was Brad Watt, a soldier from the North American Coalition, the NAC. And I forgot his rank, but it was something like some high rank. And then we got a guy called Alexei Selenoy. He's more interesting, a genius military officer, Major. He was the best character in the series. He actually had cool strategies and good moments. The animation is one of the strengths, definitely the animation. The mech were hand-drawn not by CGI, hardly any CGI. The animation was decent, very high quality at times. The character designs themselves were nothing to brag about, or screw them. The faces were so generic they pissed me off. It was hard to look at their faces, heck, I was so hard to look at the screen. I was on my phone sometimes. Every time they talk or appear, it's just, oh my god, these characters. The music was not godly, it was alright, it was mid. I would say I rarely felt anything towards the music. One memorable soundtrack, can't remember which one. The openings were whatever. I had to skip them. The worst soundtrack I have ever heard. It was definitely an effortless, a snooze fest of a soundtrack. I can't tell you the name of my favorite song because I don't care enough. I don't care enough to say what's my favorite song. What the heck? The music hits at good moments, but the moments are bad, so the music doesn't really help. Now let's just say what are my final thoughts. The anime did a good job with the technology department, storytelling, but not in anything else. Yeah, it has good ideas and they were executed almost perfectly, but with the predictable characters, predictable personalities, and predictable emotions, I was not impressed. A lot more talking about the story, and the AIs are interesting to watch. Even Brad Watt should have been more interesting. But again, he was the same one-note character. Everyone's goals were nothing new, nothing special, and I think nobody, not even the viewer, would be impressed. The animation in the mecha is rarely hand-drawn nowadays, but Bandai never disappoints. Watching Kenbu fight was the biggest win in the entire series, and so was the Jogen and the Reiki, two amazing mechs with more personality than their pilots. Yikes. The strategies were awesome. Amaim never fails to disappoint in many ways, but they do disappoint in many ways. And I would watch the series if I was a huge mech anime fan or if I was just bored. The show was a complete waste of time, but my expectations were always low, but even then. So what did you guys think about the anime? Was it a complete waste of time, like I thought it was? Besides the fight scenes that were amazing? Let me know, leave a comment, share the video, like the video. It's JM, I'm out.